Robert Pape is a professor of political science and an expert on global security, who argues that the major decapitation of Iran's leadership failed to immediately break the regime, while upping the pressure for more force, including raising the specter of a ground war.
Christian, thanks. Robert Pape, welcome back to the program. You recently launched a Substack called The Escalation Trap. First of all, what does that mean?
The escalation trap are a set of frameworks I've been developing for 30 years. I started developing these when I taught for the U.S. Air Force to help people understand what's in the middle between when bombs hit target and a political outcome. Everybody understands that there's military action and then some political end state they want. What is that middle? They're escalation dynamics. It's where politics and the military interact. And that is what is so special about the escalation trap. And in this particular case, when I set it up just before the bombing started in the Iran war, I called it a trap, not just escalation dynamics. And I did that on purpose because I laid out the stages, 1, 2, 3, of the likely escalation trap that we were getting ourselves into. And with each stage, you lose more control. So the illusion of control is what helps set off the escalation trap in stage 1. Precision bombs hit targets, kill leaders, but that leads to then strategic failure. Regime becomes more aggressive, more dangerous, don't get the enriched uranium, then double down, regime becomes more aggressive still, takes Hormuz. Now that's stage 1 and stage 2. And I laid that out before the bombs even fell. And here we are with the escalation trap, the teeth closing. One more point, which is you're so confident of success, strategic success, you don't have any backup plan to deal with the enemy lashing back. So once you are so confident, and then and really with precision bombs, and when you have generals with stars saying this will be destroyed, 90% plus probability here, my goodness, this is true. These are not false statements, but it's the illusion of control. And that illusion then leads to downplaying worst case scenarios. And it's not unique to President Trump. This may be the worst escalation trap ever, by the way. What we see here is taking Hormuz. It's not so much there wouldn't have been some mention of that in the briefings to Trump. That's not really quite right. It's the illusion of control. It's President Trump and others around his circle seeing, my goodness, we will not just have the bombs hit a target, we control, we will dominate. They wouldn't dare take Hormuz. Well, they did. They got it. Now they control more oil than we do.
Is there a difference here? Can you spell out for our audience was this tactically a success versus strategically a failure? Or kind of what's the difference? Parse that out.
Yes, yeah. So it's very important to understand that when bombs hit targets, they destroy the facility, they destroy the communications of leaders, and they kill leaders. That's tactical success. That's what our military is the best in the world at. I've taught our military. I've taught the best pilots in the Air Force, and they put bombs on targets better than anybody else. What's happening is once the bomb hit the target, then how do you get to the political outcome, the strategic success? That's the stages of escalation where politics comes in. Bombs hit the target, and now suddenly politics inside of the target country, both the regime and the society, change. So all those pre-war trends you had, all that intel that was, you have like SITK, all these fancy words here for the top secret intel. None of that now is still the same because the politics is changing literally with the dropping of the bomb. And that is where my work has come in to show that for over 100 years, when you bomb leaders, air power alone has never toppled a regime, because what it does is it changes politics inside of the target, makes the regime more likely, the new leaders more likely to fight back and be aggressive, makes even the pro-democracy movements gun-shy about supporting the bomber, the 800-pound gorilla of the United States who's doing all this. And what you end up with then is the possibility of lashing back. And in this case, that always meant horizontal escalation, the GCC countries, which again, President Trump has said we didn't think they'd hit the GCC countries. Well, and worse than that, they could take the Straits of Hormuz. So unlike Serbia, this is likely going down as the worst catastrophe of the escalation trap we have seen with air power in history.